We found the button.
Test, 1, 2.
This is not inspiring confidence that the digital marketing people can't find the damn button online. I apologize.
We just wanted us to feel equal.
This is the entertainment part of your day. We promised you 4 meals and entertainment. This is the entertainment. You can all move up closer if you like. We'd love to be able to see you and hear you. That's fine. Thank you, John. There is a cover charge if you get on my lap, though. Good morning. This is April 25th, Tuesday, in beautiful Reno, Nevada, at the 48th Annual CALLERLAB Convention. This is the digital marketing session with Ray Owens and Alan Hurst. We keep swapping our moderator names back and forth, so we're both going to moderate ourselves. You are completely lost. First of all, show of hands, how many callers? Okay, and let me get my pen out, which I did not have. And how many non-callers? So, 5 to 6, not good odds. Actually, I'm pleased that we have people who are not callers in the session because this is who we are actually, this is who I aimed my session, my part of the session at.
Add 2 more.
Are you callers or non-callers? Okay, so that is now 8 non-callers.
We're outnumbered.
They're outnumbered.
Just go for it.
So, a couple of quick introductions. My name is Alan Hurst. I am probably best known in the IEGSDC community. I have been working on digital projects such as the IEGSDC History Wiki with my lovely co-moderator, Pam Clasper, actually co-committee member, co-chair, co-whatever. Anyway, history project. I have been working with a number of clubs. I've managed a couple of clubs. I did convention websites for 2 IEGSDC conventions. This is actually my third time at CALLERLAB taking a tackle at this topic. Although, rather than talking about how to design a website, that's Ray's, he's the expert, what I'll be talking about is what you need to have from a perspective of what are dancers looking for. So, let's get started. So, digital marketing. Why digital marketing? Social media, and by the way, get the handout from the portal. I don't use all the words on the slide. I figure you guys are intelligent enough, you can read my slides from the handouts. Everything here is in the PDF. So, social media keeps evolving, it's really hard to keep up. The big question is, who is your target audience? How do you reach them? Everybody is busy. So as you think about how to present your club, your calling service, your club association, your caller association to the world, you need to think about what a busy person is looking for and how are they going to find it. So this is the part of the slide where I wrote this and looked at my husband and said, they're going to throw tomatoes at me. So we all want to think that we are 20-something years old still. Whatever age we were when we started dancing. I started dancing at age 35. In my head on the dance floor, I am forever 35. That's in people years, not dog years. However, I'm not 35 anymore. I don't look 35. I acknowledge this, I own it. Everybody else needs to own this too because all of our clubs have aged. And what I have seen, at first in the LGBTQ dance community and dance clubs, but also the straight clubs, is we keep trying to recruit 20-somethings into our clubs because that's the age where we started dancing. And the ugly truth of this is a 20-something doesn't want to dance with grandpa because that's what I am to a 20-something. So, let's talk about demographics. I am not a demographic expert. Mike Hogan knows this backwards and forwards, but basically, the general rule of thumb is you want to recruit people who are no more than 10 or 12 years younger than the median age of your group. If your club has dancers mostly in their mid-60s, you are not looking for 20-somethings. You are looking for 50 to 55-somethings. You bring those people into the club. You nurture them. You get them on the board. And then they go out when they have brought all of their friends in, and the median age of the club is down to 60 or 55, and they recruit 10 years below that. So this is literally a generational task. You are not going to solve this scenario by bringing in 25-year-olds. There is one exception. If you want to start a youth club for 25-year-olds, go for it. But if you're going to bring in 70-year-old people that has 25-year-olds, they're not going to come back a second time. And this was proven when my club, El Camino Reelers, back in Sunnyvale, we would do intro nights. And our average age of our club was I would say, politely early 50s, which means really 60s. And we did recruiting. We brought in 20-somethings once a month for an intro night, no charge, or maybe a $5 cover charge. We had food. We had a different caller every month. We had half square dancing and half something else like contra or line dancing or traditional folk dancing. And what we found is the 20-somethings came in, danced the evening, thanked us politely, and fled. And they never came back. So, don't try to bring in 20-somethings if you're not 20-something. Shoot for your own age minus 10 years. So, we've talked about imagination versus reality. I'm not going to go through this horribly complicated slide except to point out two things. The blue area is where we think we are. We think we're teens to 30s. The orange area is where we really are, from 40s to 60s and up. And there are two specific social media platforms that pop out. And this is a common set of demographics. The very bottom of the slide, where it says Koros.com, is where I source this information, which is publicly available social media research everybody has access to. The two platforms that serve the 40 and up demographic are YouTube and Facebook. So I'm going to talk a little bit about YouTube and Facebook. This is basically a slide from the Pew Research Center saying most Americans use YouTube and Facebook. You can go through this and look up the article yourself later. So let's talk about what you need. I'm going to, now how many people here are here because you have a club you want to, bring more people into? Show of hands. Okay. How many of you have caller associations? Okay, not quite as many, but still quite a few. And how many of you are looking for have a personal website as a caller you want to bring people in? Okay, but still a good representation. So, here's what dancers are looking for. They hit your website, and the first thing they want to know is when and where are you dancing this week? Because they probably have a spur-of-the-moment thing. What if I went square dancing this week? I'm visiting Columbus, Ohio. I picked that out of thin air. Where can I go in Columbus to dance on a weekly basis? Someone's from Ohio. Never mind. Anyway, where can I go? Where does this club dance? Who's the caller? How much does it cost? Nobody puts that on their website anymore. So this has to be updated every single week. I know it's a challenge. It takes almost 10 minutes to update a website calendar on a weekly basis, including logging on and logging off. Next, you need to have some way to reach out to people you already know. This is an email list. El Camino Reelers in Sunnyvale does a great job of getting huge turnouts for their club nights by sending a weekly email out saying, here's what's happening at ECR this week. We're going to have a pizza party. We're going to have a potluck on Friday. We're going to have a nautical themed night, dressed like a sailor. Swear like a pirate. Whatever it is, every week they send something out to all the people who are on the email list, a lot of whom are not members, and they show up anyway, and that's how they get people in the door. The other thing on your website, and I should have highlighted this, but you need to have, right here, you need to have an updated direct contact person, email and telephone, for people who have questions. So I've already talked about having a social media presence, Facebook and YouTube. And then the last thing is, everything needs to be hyperlinked. So your website should have links to Facebook and YouTube. Facebook, your Facebook group, should point to your website and YouTube points to the website and to Facebook. So no matter where somebody enters your social media cycle, they can find all the information eventually by just one click. I'm not going to go through this extensively. Ray can do this if he likes. He probably has this all ready to go. But you need to have a domain name, you need to have a website, you need to have an online calendar. I happen to favor Google Calendar because it's easy to share, but there's lots of calendars out there that you can use for online calendars. You have to have a public Facebook group and you have to have a YouTube channel. Next, you gotta put your content out there. In technical terms, you are deploying your content. That includes all of your club nights, your dances, and your class nights. Special events, everything goes into that calendar, which is updated on a weekly basis. Thank you. Points for participation from the audience. You need to put that calendar on the front page of your website because that's what people want to know first. When and where are you dancing? What level are you dancing? You also need to have either a page or a link for your class on the website. Hopefully we all are running classes once or twice or 3 times a year with SSD. You need to have an easy place for them to find, here's where I go to learn how to square dance. I would suggest for every dance, for every class, you have a PDF that can be downloaded. Not a graphic, an actual PDF, because PDFs can be emailed and shared and printed. And people can forward those to their friends easily. Make a short video, 30 seconds, a minute, doesn't have to be long, aimed at recruiting new dancers. You'll see some great examples on Live Lively Square Dance, which I'm proud to say is a product of the marketing committee, of which Pam and I are both members. But something short and fast and easy. Maybe do a singing call of your club having a specially really good hair night and put that on there. The point is to get people interested in coming to dance with you, whatever that takes. And then you also will put some longer videos of singing calls or dances, but make sure that something short and fun is front and center. So, extra credit. You get extra credit for me if I can go to your website and click on a button to sign up for the mailing list. You get more credit if I can use PayPal or something else to pay for memberships and classes and dances. You get even more credit for online sign up for membership. Make it easy for them to become members. Make it easy online sign up to go to your classes. Don't make them have to call somebody or download something and fill it out and mail it. Make this a one-button thing. And if you are looking at a younger demographic, and at my age, everybody is a younger demographic, I will tell you right now, if you have a 35 or a 40-year-old who can't click a button and sign up for something online, they're going to turn and walk away and go find cat videos to watch on YouTube. They are just not going to do it. I've already talked about this. You link to everything everywhere. This is a suggested list of links. Ray will have a more comprehensive list, I'm sure. And everything points to everything else. Visual hooks. I cannot tell you, when I moved to Sacramento as a caller and started going to all the different club websites, and I'm not trying to shame any specific clubs, including the club that just signed me as their full-time caller, how many websites had not been updated in 2 or 3 years? how many websites did not have calendar information, but this really offended me, how ugly some of these websites were. Little tiny print, no graphics, very hard to read. This is an example of dance party posters from El Camino Reelers from a few years ago. You can get wild and crazy, and if you have a flyer like this for each of your dances, you can embed a small image of that linked to your dance page, linked to your dance flyer that people can download. This is the same flyer with different colors and different dates. This is a dance El Camino Reelers just gave, and it's a rebus. So, for example, you might see up top, on the very top row, 3 gold pieces of gold. What call is that? Yellow rocks, thank you. And the key is on the right-hand side. When you take this home, here's the key as well. And people got into this poster like, oh my God, what is that? What is that? What is that? And they showed up at the dance going, it's yellow rocks! Just some examples of how a really good graphic can get people's attention and get them to come to the dance. So, here's your checklist. Domain name, website, YouTube, Facebook. You will note, and if my co is listening to this, and I'm sure he will be, because this was his baby, I do reference the CALLERLAB Square Dance Marketing Manual. If you have not downloaded it, you must download it. It still needs some updating and some augmenting, but it is an amazing treasure trove of information resource. How do you do Facebook? How do you do YouTube? How do you do Instagram? Although I wouldn't do Instagram now knowing what I know, but how do you use these things? How do you market? Who is your demographic? It's a great marketing manual, and if you haven't gotten it, you really need to. And just in case you have your phones ready, you can go ahead and this QR code, and you can go to it right now. The manual is in the CALLERLAB knowledge base. Again, if you're not using the knowledge base, you are missing out on an awful lot of fabulous information that is completely free. There are some other resources. I have my own website up there, which is danceinfo.org. There is nothing of a commercial nature. These are all articles on how to run, how gay conventions are run, how to create a fun badge tour, how we did recruiting at El Camino Reelers, how we did our fun nights, and what our results were, and what we learned from that. How we were one of the first clubs in the Bay Area to move to blast classes. This is before using SSD, and what our experiences were. A lot of good articles on there. If you have not gone to these sessions, be sure to get the recordings. Ray Owens and Chris Jensen did website design yesterday, and then Justin and Jack, Russell and Plattis, did marketing's newest tools yesterday. Today at 1 p.m. we have email marketing with Bob Riggs and Shauna Carey. And then of course we have CALLERLAB website resources, which is going to be Patty Green and Teresa Berger. So keep these in mind. It's like a whole marketing track if you really want to market yourself. Any questions before I turn this over to Ray? I think I've stunned them. I'm not sure if it's with brilliance or something else. All right. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and...
Hey, hang on. There's a question.
Oh, we have a question.
I don't need a mic. I just.
Oh, we have to have you on mic, sir.
I just need to go back to that QR code.
Oh, the QR code. There's the QR code.
That's all I wanted.
You only love me for my QR code. I know that. And that should take you to the CALLERLAB marketing manual. Uh-oh.
Too little from here.
Too little from there.
Okay.
You got it.
Thank you.
You got it? We all got it. All right. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect my PC and give Ray a chance to connect his.
You know, back when, years ago, when Queen played the Live Aid over in England, and they knocked it out. It was called the greatest rock concert of all time. And after they did all that, David Bowie was next, and he goes, I have to follow that? Oh, my God. Oh, we're going to have to move, aren't we?
I suppose I should apologize for Teresa not warning you what I'd like to present with. I guess she figured it'd be a delightful surprise. Hey Ray, I talk fast. But most important part, you can't do this without Diet Coke.
Amen. Well, hi, I'm Ray Owens. For those of you maybe wondering who I am, I'm not a caller. Ted Lazat invited me to last year's CALLERLAB, and he actually gave me some advice. He said, don't let us suck you into this. And here I am, I've been a square dancer for nearly 40 years now, off and on. I've been fortunate to work with a lot of callers, events. I'm the webmaster for Buddy Weaver, Mike Seastrom, Jack Platties, Tony Oxendine. I do all of their websites. I did the websites for the Evansville National Convention. I did the website for Jackson's National Convention. If you registered online to go to Jackson or Evansville, you did it through my website, Weave the Ring, which is my online registration site. So I've been doing this for a while because I was frustrated when my hot blonde girlfriend and I got back into square dancing and we couldn't register online anywhere like Alan was talking about. Make it easy to do that. Tried to go to Kansas City that year. We tried to go to the state convention that year, the singles convention that year, and you couldn't register online for do anything. Here's a little secret. I don't own envelopes. I don't own stamps. I don't know where the post office box is. There may be one in front of my house. I'm not sure, but so. There's a fundraising auction tonight after the banquet. Justin Russell reached out to me and he says, hey, you have anything you want to auction off? And he put me up here. I guess I'm going to build somebody a website for the auction and everything. But in the description, he calls me a marketing guru. And I'm not sure what Jason was smoking when he came up with that, but let's run with that for just a second. Because Alan absolutely touched on, to me, what digital marketing means when it comes to square dancing is how do I get new dancers? How do I bring more people in here? And I'm going to give you a spoiler alert for what I'm going to talk about. I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea, because if I did, I would take that secret and I would sell it to every single club and caller-in organization. All right? Because that's the thing about marketing.
You know, we have some openings in the marketing committee.
I'm not a caller. Y'all won't let me in.
We recruit anyway.
Yeah.
You know, you can still come in and talk with us.
Marketing is not a one-size-fits-all solution. It's kind of a throw the kitchen sink at it and everything else with it. What works in this area of the country doesn't work in this area of the country. What worked last year may not work this year, and vice versa. What didn't work last year may work this year. Some of the websites I developed for California, for example, there's something that doesn't work. I can't show any pictures of people in petticoats and crinoline. They don't want to see that. We're getting away from that. Go to New England, completely the opposite.
That's all they want.
Yeah, that's all they want. So that's why marketing efforts needs to be a try everything under the sun approach and find out what works for you. Plus, it also needs to be constant. It needs to be continual. It needs to be 52 weeks a year, 365 days a year. You've got to be out there putting some effort forward all the time. If you've got a traditional class that's starting in September, you can't just start putting flyers on the telephone poles in August. You're not going to get that much of a turnout. In marketing, there used to be something called a rule of 7, and we touched on this briefly. Basically, the rule went that you need to be shown something at least 7 times before the consumer will take action on that. That rule doesn't really apply anymore. Americans tend to see, between social media and everything else that we're on, between 4,000 and 10,000 advertisements a day. We've become really, really good at filtering those out. We just ignore almost everything. So what does work with today's consumers? Here it is. People have a problem or a topic that they're interested in. And what they do is they turn to social media, as Alan, so eloquently put. They turn to social media, and they ignore all the advertisements on Facebook, all those sponsored ads on Google and everything. People just ignore those. They go right on down to the meat and potatoes of it. They go out to their social media contacts, and I've got this problem, and I need to solve it. So they look at what their friends are doing, and if they find Bob has had the same problem and Bob did ABC to fix this, well, then they go back out to Google and they look up ABC because they're thinking, well, Bob didn't get paid for that endorsement and it worked for somebody that I know. It's a first-hand recommendation for all practical purposes. And this is where your marketing efforts start to come into play because these are the 3 rules to connect with today's consumers. 1, create a solution for their problem. 2, make a connection with them. 3, think creatively about your messaging. This is my Columbus Square Dance site. Websites serve 2 masters. 1, we want to recruit new customers. Think about it. So many people don't get the mindset that square dancing is a business. It really is. It really comes down to money in a lot of cases, but it really is a business. And if you treat your clubs and you treat your organizations as businesses and you make business decisions for them, it'll work out well. 1, recruit new people. So on your websites, you need to have pictures of smiling faces, of people having fun out there. New visitors to this aren't going to have any idea what those people are doing, but they're going to say, hey, look at the smiles on their faces. I'd like to have a smile on my face. I'd like to have some of this fun that these people are saying. The visual aids are absolutely imperative. For all those, this is called a hero image on the front page of a website. So make sure your hero image is somebody or a whole group of somebody's up there smiling. You could have just done my part of this. As Alan said, I believe the most important tool that a website has, whether it's a caller website, whether it's a club website or anything else, is a calendar. Absolutely. I hate flyers, and we'll get to those in a minute. But as far as putting stuff on there and keeping this thing updated, use a calendar. I may be jumping ahead, but I'm going to go real quick. Alan had talked about Google calendars. They are ubiquitous. They are everywhere. They are easy to implement. What I use is a solution called TeamUp, teamup.com. They have a free tier. You can have up to 8 sub-calendars. What I have found for callers and for club websites, that's more than enough. I use a professional version, which runs me about $300 a year. But with that, I get 50 sub-calendars. So I can assign each one of those sub-calendars to the dozen. How many clubs we got in Ohio, Captain? Well, Central Ohio. Dozen, 15, roughly, yeah. So every club gets their own calendar, and I give that calendar to them. And as Alan said, they take the 10 minutes a week to update it. So anybody coming to the Central Ohio area, or even the Cleveland area, because I share the calendars with the clubs up in Cleveland too, it's easy to come in here and find who's dancing what, who's dancing where, and actually, we do put the prices. We actually tell people what it's going to cost to come in and have a dance and everything.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to reach over and kiss you, man, with all the stuff you were saying. Oh my God.
See my husband later. There's a rate chart.
Yeah, Now, with existing customers, you're not having to sell so much on your product. Your product being a dance. All right. For the callers, your product is yourself, but you're selling your dances. For the clubs, our product is the dances or so. So again, we've got the 2 users. We've got the new users who are coming to learn new information about the whole activity. But your existing customers, you use your website to sell on that, and that's where the calendar comes in. They look here and they find out when the next dance is, when you're selling your next product, which is what that is. It's your dance.
While you're doing that, amplification on that.
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to amplify your product is your dance. Your product, even more than your dance, is the experience you're offering for an evening. Now, I mentioned in passing very quickly that El Camino Reelers does a lot of different things. Now, my former club, my current club is Capital City Squares in Sacramento. And one of the things they have been doing for several years to get people in the door is once a month or so On a Friday, they have a potluck. And they get a different set of people who won't come during the week, but they'll come in on a Friday. Maybe they'll come from the office with something ready to go, or they'll stop off at Krispy Kreme and get some donuts, whatever it is, and they have a potluck dance. On different weeknights, they will have themes, because what they have figured out is they are selling an experience. And every dance they do has a different theme with a unique graphic theme to hook people in. Oh, this is the Rocky Horror Picture Show Halloween dance with Eric Hannerlaw. And he's dressed up like Frankenfurter. I gotta go see that. And it was a huge dance. Huge. So theming is all part of this. This is all part of marketing. It's not just the same thing every single week. Try to make it fun. Encourage your dancers to be part of making up these themes.
As I mentioned before, the three legs of this, creating a solution for people's problems, establishing a connection, back to the Columbus Square Dance website again. We're doing that without writing a single line of copy, all right? We have a solution to their problem. My problem is I want to have fun. I want to meet really nice people. I want to have a good time. We have that in spades, all right? And we do that by showing all those smiling faces. We did it, and we didn't have to do one line of copy on there. We did it by showing a visual aid. You'll hear me say this a lot. Show them, don't tell them. Show them what we do, all right? Let me show you my buddy Jason Raleigh. He's a caller in Columbus. And we put together a highlight reel, because if you're going to show this stuff off, the absolute best tool to do this is video. Videos are shared 12 times more than text and links combined. So show them. And it's on Jason's site here, and as Alan was talking about a while ago, about a 30-second, 60-second. This is 90 seconds, and what we did, boy, we have a horrible fast connection. So the picture's not that good just because of our slow connection. I'm going to see if I can speed that up, so I'll make that better. Yeah, if we wait till... There we go. So in 90 seconds, Jason, hush. In 90 seconds, a visitor will know Jason's style. They'll know how he sounds. They'll know how he looks. They'll know everything about him to make that buying decision to hire Jason. And again, we did it with a 90-second video. But the website, the rest of it's almost kind of extemporaneous, because we don't need a lot of it, because we showed you how Jason is. All you got to do now is tell us, I'd like to hire you, Jason. And that's the kind of stuff. If you don't have somebody taking videos of you as callers every single time you're out there, buy you a tripod. Mount your cell phone on it, okay? Tripods you can pick for $25 at Walmart, for crying out loud. Post it every single time. So show, I get kind of fancy in there, and I'll show a subset, but that's because I'm using multiple cameras. Yes, sir?
True story. The power of video. One of my first calling gigs, I had just moved to Sacramento, was subbing at our local advanced club, Primates, and the president of the local Square Dance Association snuck in the room. He later asked permission. It's okay, he had good intentions. And he videotaped my performance, calling to Primates. And this got shared around to every club in the area. I didn't do anything to promote this. And suddenly I started getting calls. Can you call for us on Thursdays? How about Tuesdays? What's your Wednesday like? How about a Friday? From maybe a 2-minute video of me calling. It works.
Yeah, absolutely. On all those websites, I was telling you, Buddy's website, I mean, it starts off with a video on Buddy's site. Right there, there's sound to it. Mike Seastrom's, we have media for him. So on all of those websites, absolutely put video out there. Show your customers, not tell your customers. Okay, I said earlier we'd get back to using the calendar for new customers. Again, as Alan alluded to and everything. This is the Cleveland Federation of Square Dancers up north of Ohio. This is their class schedule. Just like we do with the regular dance schedules and stuff, gives the a new dancer a one-stop place. Oh, they got a class coming up on April 27th, one on April 30th or so. If I hit the detail button here, or even were to click on the link, there's the cost, there's the location, there's the contact information, there's every bit of information they need to know to make that buying decision to come to this class. I don't know that I have it. Yeah, there's even a video advertisement on here. Let me find the sound. Sorry again for the slow loading. This whopping 2 megabit per second thing is so good. Well, anyway, if you get the opportunity, you can obviously put. There we go. Ah, damn thing. All right, turn the sound off so I don't get surprised about that. But throw a video out there. Again, show them, don't tell them. Here are some people out there, they're having a good time and everything. They're smiling, they're laughing, they're moving, you know. Show them how to do that. As Alan alluded to a while before, one of the things you absolutely have to have on your website is a contact form, which I have lost. There it is. I'm not big on putting the email address publicly out there, and because it's the spam scrapers will come by and they'll snatch that up and you'll be on every spam list forever. I'm also personally not big on putting phone numbers out there. But it's a generational divide, okay? The younger crowd will never call anybody. The over 60 crowd, that's all they want to do. You know, they'll call people. So, you know, I see both sides of it. One note to say that if you do put a phone number on your website, make sure it's clickable on a mobile device so that if I hit it with my phone, it opens up my phone app and everything. So do that.
I cannot stress enough the power of spontaneity. So one of the early intro nights we did at El Camino, to bring in the 20-somethings, a lovely young Japanese girl walked in with a Google badge on. And I said, how much is it? $10. And she said, and she held out her phone and said, Apple Pay? No, cash. Oh, I don't have cash. I don't use cash. I said, come in tonight for free. If you like it, come back next month, give me $20. And she did. She did. But they want to use their phones. If they see it, and they all use their phones, they want to be able to click on that number. They want to click on a PayPal link to pay for something. They want this to be easy. So our new job is to make this easy for people to click on something, preferably to buy, because once they click on a button for PayPal or something else to charge them, they are committed. They have paid. They are going to show up. Make it easy.
Absolutely. As Alan was talking a while ago, based on the demographics and everything, if we're in our 60s, we should be recruiting the 45s and up, and the 45s and up all live on their cell phones. They have them all the time. If they can't, being a computer geek, if I can't do something online, I generally don't do it, period. And the younger generation is all about that. There was a survey done recently that said that most 40s and younger couldn't tell you where the post office is. They couldn't tell you where a post office box was. They do not own envelopes. They don't own stamps. Everything is done online. One of the driving goals of Square Dance Tech is to pull Square Dancing into the 21st century and get this message across that we have to make it convenient. We have to quit putting roadblocks. Fill out a PDF, mail it somewhere. No, I'm not going. That's just all there is to it. All right. Social media. Alan again touched on this, but I'm going to briefly go through Facebook. Bank robber Willie Sutton one time was asked, why do you rob banks? And his answer is, because that's where the money is, all right? That's why we're on Facebook, because that's where our Square Dancers are. That's where our clubs are. That's where our events are. I'm not a big fan of Facebook, but I have to use it because that's where everybody is. I can post to my website all day long, but the users are out here on Facebook. The interaction is out here on Facebook. Facebook makes it, fall off a greased log, easy to build a group or a discussion list or something like that. they really have their ducks in a row when it comes to making it easy for people to connect to one another. And I don't see any end to Facebook anytime soon. So if you don't care for it, we're stuck with it, and you should use it.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So, one of the things we found in my prior clubs, advertising on Facebook, we found for us did not work. We got lots of engagement, but nobody ever showed up from Facebook.
Yeah.
And it was just money we spent on nothing.
Yeah.
We found we got much better engagement just from making sure our group was public, people could find it, and having people tag us at El Camino Reelers, at Primates, at Capital City Squares, and that brought people in because they saw it on their friends' posts.
That's a great idea.
So you have had the same thing.
Yeah,
paid
same thing.
advertising is just
Paid
not working
advertising
on
Facebook doesn't work, in my opinion, or it hasn't worked for anything we've tried.
And none of my Square Dance clubs has had good luck with paid advertising.
Right.
Just get yourself on Facebook. That's enough.
So let's talk about some of the other major social media sites, and I'm going to display my biases on every one of them here. So take this with a big grain of salt. Instagram, that's the other big one for young people, not for our age demographic. Plus, as a photographer, Instagram drives me crazy because you can only upload stuff from your phone. Now, if the majority of people take pictures with their phone, so that's a natural fit. Upload it from my phone, I took a picture, took a video, you stick it out there. But then the other hinky thing about it, and maybe they've changed this recently, it's a bear to embed Instagram in a website. They don't make it easy. They want you to go to Instagram's page. Right. Don't like that. So let's talk about the other big one, Twitter. Twitter tends to be a bunch of angry people on this side arguing with a bunch of angry people on this side, all right? For the most part, it's 99% noise, but what Twitter has, like Instagram, is you can post pictures and videos to Twitter, but you can easily embed that into your website, and particularly for caller websites, it's kind of like a travel log, a little history log of where you were. So every time you go to a new dance or a new location, a new club or something like that, take a 10-second video, take you a couple of pictures and everything. Post it to Twitter. You can do it from your phone. If you've got the feed into your caller website and everything, it uploads automatically. You don't have to do anything there once you have it embedded. And it's like I said, it serves as a nice little travelogue. And then as people are watching your videos, they can also look through your Twitter timeline and say, oh, he was here, and he was here. Oh, yeah, I know them, and on and on and on. Great. You've established more that of a connection. I know some of the people that he's been to and he's called to and danced with and everything. You're establishing that connection. TikTok.
We're not young enough to even know how to open it.
15-second videos of young ladies showing off what clothes they bought and young guys trying to kill themselves on skateboards. All of it backed up with horrible rap music. Our demographics are nowhere near TikTok, so just stay away from that. Now, the next one, the big three, and I'll tell you right away, I have no personal first-hand knowledge of these. I've never marketed on the next three of them.
I have.
But I was listening when Jason and Jack did their thing yesterday. Yeah. Jason was talking about Meetup for their Memphis groups, and said that it was worth the money to pay for them.
If you're going to do Meetup, big if, but if you're going to do Meetup, it is worth paying for a membership. We actually shared a membership with a couple of other clubs because you can have different sets of meetups. Meetup is a little more time intensive. It's more like 15-20 minutes a month or a week to update an event. If you're going to update your event, it requires a little more care and feeding. We found at El Camino Reelers, trying to bring the younger people in, we would get a lot of responses on Meetup, but they never showed up. But that's Silicon Valley where people are really busy. Where was the area? You said Kentucky?
Just as in Memphis.
Memphis.
Yeah.
So different areas you may find different things work. When you download our presentations from the CALLERLAB website, and go to my presentation with that long table. I mean, if you're scanning for younger people, that table will show you which of the different medias they use. Meetup is not necessarily on there, But, maybe it's worth trying for 4 or 5 months in your area to see if you like it, to see if you're getting people in. The whole point of Meetup is having strangers say, where can I go for hot yoga class? That's in Memphis, Tennessee. Or where can I go to walk my dog with other pit bull rescue owners in Phoenix, Arizona? I mean, it's very, very micro-targeted, and people search on that. So go look at Meetup and see if it'll work for you. I used to have a whole big thing on Meetup, and we put 3 or 4 years of time and money into it. It did not work out for us. That doesn't mean it might not work out for you in your area.
That's right. It's back to the try everything under the sun approach. Again, because it works here, may not work here, and vice versa. So, Justin Russell, again, yesterday was saying that he does this for his Memphis group. And in case you're not familiar with Meetup, we kind of skipped past that. This is a collection of every niche interest that you could possibly imagine.
You think I'm kidding on the pit bull rescue owners?
Oh, no,
I'm not kidding.
No, you're not.
Neither on the hot yoga.
But when you put an advertisement out there, you can say, give me the over 60 crowd. Give me anybody interested in any kind of dance. Give me anybody that lives within 10 miles of this zip code. Those kind of things you can micro-target your advertisements to. Justin Russell was the first that I had heard that Meetup worked really well for him, and he's got an ongoing thing, and I believe he told me that he was spending about $100 a year, and if you equated that to a $50 membership into the club, as long as he got at least 4 people a year from Meetup, he thought that was worth money. Your mileage may vary. Okay?
I will make one observation. How old are we, and how old is Justin?
Well, Justin's 4.
In dog years.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Did you catch that? Justin is 4.
So Justin is a much younger caller than us, and that means he is going to go for a younger demographic, because dancers are going to go for callers who look like them. Darren Galena, when he first started, was very well known for bringing in much younger dancers because he looked young, he had a young energy, he had a strong energy, and that was his niche for several years. Is he would do youth dances. He would go to colleges. That was his thing. We are not Justin's demographic. Sorry, Justin, this is all for you.
There's a caller out of Georgia named Charlie Petraea, and he has a continuing series of square dance callers talking. And he did an interview with Justin just a few weeks ago. And Justin talked about how his first class was when he was 16. But he's teaching 50 and 60-year-olds, and said, and I was a brat, trying to tell these 60-year-olds how to do something. I'm like, oh, really, son? Anyway, the next one up is Nextdoor. And again, I have no personal experience with Nextdoor. It is a collection divided by zip code in the United States. I know, Pam, you took me to task yesterday about outside of the United States. I don't know if
Nextdoor is, I've seen it in the Toronto area, so it is certainly in the Toronto area, whether it's the rest of Canada, I don't know, but I have seen it there. I haven't used it particularly, but I have seen it there.
Thank you. I appreciate the input on that. I have heard no success stories about Nextdoor. Yes, ma'am.
We do pretty well, because
We need to have you on mic.
Yeah.
I'll meet you halfway. The Board of Governors can't hear you from there.
Oh, sorry.
Well, we need your name, social security number, date of
Every
birth.
board member has to listen to every tape, so we have to have everybody mic. Your name and your city, and then your question or comment.
Nancy Reha, Olympia, Washington. We've had some success with Nextdoor. What we found is because it's really neighborhood oriented, and we have a large geographical area that we send out to our dancers a suggested blurb, and then they put it on in their neighborhood, and we get people.
Is there a cost to it?
There's no cost.
There's no cost.
You have to join.
I'm assuming it's some kind of moderated. Where I'm going with this is, do the moderators object to excessive advertising?
They haven't in our area.
Okay. And what kind of results are you getting?
We get people showing up to our free introductions, yeah,
Do they stay?
some of them.
Okay. Well, yeah, like everything
I
else.
mean, the people that are brought by dancers are more likely to stay
Sure.
than the ones that see it online and, you know, maybe think it's going to be alcohol and while dancing.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I will make one note on that. Word of mouth, personal referral and word of mouth, in my experience in the last 20, 30 years, has the number one best result to get people in the door and keep them. Redwood Rainbows in Sebastopol, California has an amazing story where they'll bring in 20, 30, 40 people into a new class every year. Where do they find them? They talk to them at the grocery store. They talk to them at the laundromat. They go out, they have a lot of retired folks in their club, and they all go out and talk to people and hand out flyers and hand out postcards.
Back to the discussion that Jack and Justin had yesterday. If you get an opportunity, I taped it, so it'll be out on CALLERLAB's site and a bunch of other places too. But they talked about some of the other marketing tools that they were using. Jack Platty's biggest thing was the yard signs, which surprised the heck out of me. But that they get more dancers just from yard signs alone, which I'm not going to talk about. But basically, I'm encouraging you to go take a look. If you weren't here for that marketing thing, go take a look at that video because it was a lot of interesting stuff that was in here. Now, the last one of the three between Meetup Nextdoor is Pinterest. Again, it's a collection where you can go and show it off your pictures of what you're interested in and you know what you like to buy and all the other stuff. These three services, Meetup, Nextdoor, and Pinterest, are heavily female-oriented, especially Pinterest. 80% of the users on Pinterest are female. And as Alan alluded to a while ago about who are you marketing to, who are you selling to. So let's take the example of a traditional, male, female that we're recruiting for a traditional club. I'm not ignoring the gay clubs and everything, but just for an example. If you're marketing for a traditional thing, you have to market to the ladies. You cannot market to the gentleman, because if it's the guy who comes home with the ad, he's going to go, honey, I'm going to go dance with other women for the next 40 weeks. Are you good with that? Yeah, that's not going to go over, So she's going to be the one making the buying decisions, and how you market to them. For women, you talk about the sociability aspect of it. You talk about the exercise. You talk about the lifelong friends that you're going to make. None of these appeal to the guys. The guys just go, okay, are we going or not, honey? And then he gets dragged along. And you'll hear that stories a lot. My wife dragged me and I loved it, okay? But the buying decision in a traditional couple is the lady. You have to market to her. With most social media marketing, you can do a lot for free. Nextdoor was free. Meetup has some paid tiers and everything. Pinterest, I don't really know how much marketing you can get out of Pinterest or so. Facebook has paid ads, but as Alan and I talked about, I've not seen a lot of success in that. But there's a lot of things that you can try for free. The event right after this one is going to be about male marketing. So let me give you my opinion on that for a little bit. The two heavyweight giants are MailChimp and Google Groups. I use both of these depending on what I'm trying to accomplish. But the problem with email anymore, in my opinion, is that it's ignored. Spam has polluted email so much. I have one group on MailChimp, and I'm not going to show it. It's got 900 and something members. They all voluntarily signed up for the list. They all did. They went out to the forum. They took the trouble. They put their email address in there. They did the authentication so that, we're not spamming you or anything like that. And if I'm lucky, I'll get a 50% open rate, which meant 50% of the people that I sent it to didn't even open it. And if they're not opening it, they're not reading it, obviously.
Not quite. Not
You
quite.
can read it on your phone if you do it in the first.
Actually, there's one exception to that. If you are sending emails to a group who already knows you, like your club members, even just having that weekly email, what's happening this week, they see the headline in their email. Oh, there's club night on Tuesday. That's the one exception, and that is an exception.
But I'll buy that.
But for new people,
there's
it's-
always exceptions. Yeah.
Right.
And perhaps if you had a sustained mailing campaign, the open rate's still going to be better. I don't personally think it's ever going to get above 60%.
The only place I've ever used email campaigns successfully like MailChimp is for conventions, where you have people who sign up to get updates. For clubs, other than there's reminders and to encourage people to come in.
So let me give you an alternative to that. It's texting. 95% of text messages are opened within 3 minutes of being sent. All right, people read text messages, and also if you have a website, there's another service that up until recently used to be called Joy of Text. The guy that was the programmer for it, he sold out to these people. It's now called Ultimate WP SMS. It is a paid software program. You can put it on your website. It's specifically designed for WordPress websites, which fortunately are most of them, okay? The program itself, unless they changed it since yesterday, is $65 a year, and you have to pay for the text messages that you send, which are about 3/4 cent per message. So if you round that up to a penny, and you got 200 people on your text messaging list, which you can put the form to have them automatically subscribe to your text messaging list, to send out messages to 200 people, it's going to cost you $2. If you're recruiting for a dance or something, $2 is, I'll pay that. If I get one more person in, I made back my $2 or so. In Columbus, Ohio, I own a massage therapy business. That's my real day job. I've got about 10 therapists that work for me. This is all sideline stuff. Square dancing is a hobby, as the callers say. This is a hobby for me. But for my real business as a massage therapist, we use text messages all the time. Confirm your reservation. We talk to them. When they arrive at our store, we do it by text messages and everything. And the younger generation, as we're trying to recruit, nothing but text messages. Email? No, email is spam. I don't even read my email. But text messages they will read. For my larger organizations, for square dancing, for the statewide organizations or the federation council side federations, we use the text messaging to talk about dances, but more importantly, to give emergency notifications, or at least urgent notifications. Hey, Alan's not going to make it tonight. We're going to put this unknown Buddy Weaver in his spot. You may want to rethink coming. That kind of thing. We have a snow cancellation because that never happens in Ohio. Or the venue changed or something, where you need to get the message out now, right now, and it needs to be read right now so that people don't show up at the wrong location, or they show up expecting to see Alan and they got this Weaver fella that's, doing the dance and everything. So use text messages for that.
Could you repeat the company?
Yes, it's called Ultimate WP SMS. In fact, that's their URL, Ultimate WP SMS. And I've been talking to the new owners about it. What I'd like to, and what I've asked them to do, because they're revamping a lot of stuff. The old guy said, I've taken it as far as I can take it. I don't have the skills to take it any further. These guys are rock solid programmers. So what I've asked them to do is say, hey, can we adapt this so that I can have a one location place on my Square Dance Tech page where that callers can come in and get their own list, and all they got to do is buy a phone number basically for $12 a year, and then pay the stuff. So that way, when the caller has something, you send it from your phone, it goes out to your list. You send it to your phone, it goes out to your list. It just makes it brain dead, stupid simple and everything, and that's what I'm going for. So I'm talking to them, and hopefully that's going to be a feature. I have no idea what it's going to cost, but boy, you guys are out of money probably. So. All right, so bottom line, send emails if it's not urgent, okay? If it's not the end of the world, if they don't read everything that you say, send a text messages if you got to get your message across real quick. One final word about MailChimp. Back on March 10th, they instituted a rather drastic reduction in their free service. Now, you can only have 500 members on a list, down from 2,000. and you can only send 1,000 emails in a month, down from 12 or so. So their least expensive paid plan to jump those numbers up is $27 a month, $324 a year just to have the mailing thing. That might be beyond some clubs.
See, if you're going to run a convention or a fly-in, that makes perfect sense. For a club to spend $30 a month to maintain an email list, probably Google Groups is a better way to go.
Yeah.
And the texting, I love the SMS message idea. That's fabulous. It's affordable.
Yeah, without a doubt, yeah. I highly recommend going to that. All right, back to the beginning when I talked about 3 ways to market to people, have a solution for their problem. Again, we got that in spades. People want to have fun. We can do that. Make a connection by having a visually appealing, information-packed website and strong ongoing social presence. 3, make your messages creative, which brings me around to our marketing materials, specifically flyers, and they suck. They suck bad. And they suck bad because we have amateurs doing them, and it's not, I'm not knocking the amateurs. God bless them, they give it their all, okay? But we are competing against Madison Avenue, we are competing against Hollywood, and if our materials aren't world class, if it's filled with 70s clip art, we're not going to appeal to anybody. So let me show off this website. I know we're running out of time here, so I'm going to try and get
We
this.
need to have some time for Q&A.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I do have one website I can give you as well.
Okay, this is Canva, one letter short of Canvas, C-A-N-V-E. They do have a paid tier, but they also have a free tier, and that's all I have ever used is their free tier. And all I do out here is create flyers, but you can do posters, you can do business cards, you can do logos, you can do all kind of stuff out there. And what you can do, I'm gonna see if I can get this brought up with this slow connection here. You do not need to know anything about flyer design, not one thing. They're going to hand you 5,000 templates, which hopefully will pop up there. There they are. There's some of the templates. And you can choose, let me see if I can do this better with a mouse. You can choose from any template and just start changing the text or changing the image on it or anything like that. Again, you don't need any degree in graphic science or anything else either. You just pull it in there and you start manipulating. It's a drag and drop kind of operation. You can export this to a PDF. You can export it to a graphic, which is what Facebook needs to display and everything. They don't do PDFs on Facebook. But it's absolutely free for most things you're going to do. All right?
Can you repeat the name of that?
Canva, C-A-N-V-A, canva.com. Go out there, create an account. You'll be on in seconds and everything. Yeah, let me show you, again, we're running out of time here. Back to my Square Dance tech site. Under my menu item for artwork, because I get so infuriated with seeing the 70s era artwork on flyers and everything, what I did is I'm using an artificial image generator called Midjourney. It's like the Cadillac of image generators. We've all heard about the ChatGPT and all the other AI, the artificial intelligence generating things that are going on now. Midjourney generates artwork. And what I do is, we don't have time to do it. If you want to show, I'll show you in action, but you got to come up to me after this. I'll show you how to do this. But in this thing, I will literally type a prompt along the lines of middle-aged couple, casually dressed, dancing. And I will get art like you see this flashing up here. Every month I go through and I update. I throw another 125 to 150 images that are out there. And I put them in a Google Photos catalog that you can download. Absolutely free. It won't cost you anything. This is one of my gifts back to Square Dancing. You can download this stuff free. You can use it in any marketing campaign that you want. There are no copyrights to deal with. You don't have to attribute me or Square Dance. I don't care. It'd be nice if you dropped me a line and said, hey, I used your stuff. Cool. I like that. All right. The people that you see in those images are not real. They don't exist. The computers generated them. And I do them in all kind of different styles. The silhouettes there was a pictogram style. This one right here was a watercolor style. That right there looks like a couple I'd like to Square Dance with, but they don't exist. They're not real. Recently, the U.S. Copyright Office denied a copyright for a lady who had created a comic book in Midjourney. And what they said was that artificial intelligence generated images were not generated by a human being. They are not covered by copyright. So you are not going to get in any trouble if you ever use any of the graphics that are coming from Square Dance Tech. Use them. God bless you. If you know something about Photoshop, you want to change the colors, the appearance, knock yourself out. Again, this is a gift back to y'all.
I think we need to move into questions and answers, unless you have anything else you want to add to sum up.
Real quick, I just want to point this out. Again, on Square Dance Tech, particularly the promotional videos, these are free also. You can go out here, down at the very bottom of the form, or the bottom of the page, is a request form. But look these over. All of these are designed to help you recruit new dancers. You stick them on your website. You can stick them in social media. If you send me the form, I will customize it for your organization's contact information, similar to your Live Lively site and everything. It's just another collection of them. This laser logo thing has become really popular. It runs about 30 seconds. My most popular one was the one that I showed on the website a while ago. It's that one right there. The one with Square Dance, the beginner program. It runs about a minute. And at the very end is your contact information for your club, your organization. There is no cost to this. I'll have it back to you within a day and all. So check out Square. I know I'm not supposed to promote my own stuff, but check out Square Dance site, because there are a lot of things out there that your clubs and organizations can use. I believe there's a question back there, Alan.
Hold up your hand so I can see you. Sure. Yes, you are. I'm bringing a microphone to you.
So there's a lot of good
Name and city, please.
Joe Dean from Sunnyvale, California. There's a lot of good ideas here, and it's great to see this new technology being made available. Thank you very much for your website. As you know, I've made use of some of your videos and
Yes,
things.
sir.
But the question I have gets back to the whole idea of social media, and also the idea of word of mouth, which for decades we've been hearing that's the most effective thing. It seems to be the potential of social media is to expand the concept of word of mouth, right? It used to be, well, these people, their neighbors, the people in the grocery store, and ideally we envision the world out there with the internet. There's all these people we can talk to now that we couldn't talk to before. The problem I see is, how do we get our people? The problem is social media has people in these groups that are already organized by some interest. They're the people you know, they're the people you do this particular thing with. I don't see that we have a big problem getting Square Dancers to watch our videos. I post videos all the time, and I get all these likes. They're all either from current Square Dancers, or they're from people I know, my family or something, that already know about Square Dancing. It's not going to persuade them. My question is, how can we, either in what we post, or where we post them, or how we get our club members to post them, get things about Square Dancing in places in social media where non-Square Dancers will see them and possibly react? We've already heard that paid ads don't seem to work. What I want is, how do I get the people who like my videos to somehow post them somewhere that non-Square Dancers?
Let me give you what may be an answer by completely going off subject. Ted Lizotte, the incoming chair up in New Hampshire, he talks about the music for his Throwback Tunes records, and he was telling us about this. And what he says he does, he's got the satellite Sirius, for your car, is that he goes outside his comfort zone. He's a child of the 80s, is how he describes it. I'm a child of the 70s and 80s, that's the music I listen to. But when I'm driving, when I'm going somewhere to a dance or something, I find a channel that I would not listen to if you paid me for it. But I do it so that I can hear what else is out there, so that I can hear the other music that's coming on, and maybe I can find a gem that I can adapt into a Square Dancing record. So I think what we need to do is get out of our comfort zone, get out of the Square Dancing Facebook groups and everything. Go find some other group that you maybe not normally talk to, ease your way in there and start bringing up square dancing in a subtle kind of way, establish a trust in that kind of group, and then go from there. That's just a suggestion, but getting out of the comfort zone, I think, is going to involve all of us.
I have known Joe for over 20 years, and I know what kind of answer he's looking for, which is very specific, which is, my example of this is on Facebook. I have a very wide circle of friends, maybe half are square dancers, and if I am going to talk about square dancing in any of my posts, I use the @ sign and I put links in to the club that I'm calling for, or the club hosting the dance, or the caller I've really enjoyed dancing to. And the people who are not square dancers will look at my posts and click on those links. And we have gotten a lot of people coming in to events they wouldn't have gone to normally because they happen to see me post on social media. Oh, I had a great time at Primates. Maybe I should go dance with Primates some night. Maybe we should go to Capital City Squares. So you use social media with the people you know, even the ones who are not square dancers, and you just tag stuff and you make sure they know how much fun you're having. And that is another way to get word of mouth out using social media. Question. Name and city, please.
So I assume we all have a problem with getting guys coming out. We live in a Western area, and so we try to, our caller dresses up Western all the time. Our dancers dress up Western whenever we have a group coming, and we get the farmers and ranchers guys coming in with their wives dragging there, and sometimes that's how we get some of them. So I just wonder if there's any kind of a gimmick for getting guys out that works well, besides the wives dragging them.
Name and city, please.
We're in Elton, Nevada.
Thank you so much. I have not found a better answer than you get the ladies there and they'll drag the guys with them. And there's been a debate raging for 30 years. Do traditional Western clothes like boots and jeans and hats attract or repel new dancers? And that's going to be specific to your area and your demographic. The younger, unless you have younger folks who are like working on a ranch, they're not going to care. They're going to want to come in t-shirts and jeans and sneakers. If you're going for an older demographic in an area which has a lot of ranchers, a lot of farmers, yeah, they would like, yeah, you know, that's what you would skew your images towards. You need to put the image forward of who you want to bring in. And that's one of the reasons I talked about what are the demographics, what are we really looking for. So if you're looking to bring your club age down, you look 10 years below your median, and what do those people look like? Where do they work? There is a much more detailed exercise you can do, which we do not have time for, and I am not qualified for it. Mike could do a great job on this. Note Mike Hope can do a demographic exercise in next year's CALLERLAB. Talking about what is your desired target demographic. And you know your areas better than we do. What's going to sell in your area? You're going for 40s, 50s, or 60-year-olds. What do they want? Any other questions? We've got the short some time. 2 minutes.
Well, when you say what, this is Jody, what do they want? And I think this is another marketing problem we have, is that people don't know what square dancing is. It's not like we can put a website, this wonderful website with keywords square dancing, and they type square, I want some square dancing, and they type that into Google, and up comes our website, because they don't know they want square dancing. So we're stuck with trying to say, oh, exercise, fun, social, but the problem is there's a lot of things that have that, and trying to narrow it, we all know because we're square dancers that there's something special about square dancing. It's not just a random exercise, right? There's a combination of things, and this is what makes it so hard to figure out, let's see, exercise, people like to play tennis because it's exercise. Let's start posting square dance ads in wonderful square dance videos in tennis groups. It doesn't really work. So this is what the trick is. And if there was some way to figure out what to post and where to post it so that we could encourage our members to do that, That would be very helpful.
Just yesterday in the marketing thing, Mike Hogan was sitting in here, and he kind of said the same thing. Mike's with iHeartRadio, big monkey muck with iHeartRadio, and what he said was that radio advertising works when you target the right audience, know exactly what to say, and how often to say it. He said that's the problem in figuring it out. Who do we target? What do we say? And Mike Hogan doesn't have an answer for it. I know.
We have a weird card. We are out of time. One last comment. This is Nancy.
Yeah, Nancy from Olympia. I haven't heard anybody talking about online calendars. And I know our Chamber of Commerce has one, almost every radio station has one. There's sites that have taken the place of traditional newspapers, and they almost always have one. People that are looking for something to do that are new to the area, look at those, and I have about 12 of those that I
That's great. It's great feedback, and certainly a lot of the online calendars and event calendars are excellent. The problem I have with most of the event calendars in the Sacramento area is they haven't been updated in 3 years, which is going back to the original issue. So, right, newspapers are a great source for that, and that's something we should look at for maybe for next year's marketing series, is talking about leveraging local advertising, leveraging local media. That would be, and of course they're all going to listen to this, so thank you, Nancy. We are out of time. I am Alan Hurst. This is Ray Owens, and this was Digital Marketing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, my friend. That was fun.
That was a month.